Hello everyone, I'm Krasi Attasio, and this is the week for the 12 Ascendants. This week is not very different from the week before because we still have this major trine on the sky between the Sun, invisible Mars, invisible Mercury, invisible Venus, all together making conjunction in Leo. They form aspect to Saturn, who is retrograde, Saturn, Ketu, and Pluto in Sagittarius, and also to the retrograde Uranus. This we know already from the previous week, and this is really not so much different. However, it is interesting because in the beginning of last week, Mercury was approaching the conjunction, but now is almost exactly meeting the Sun and all these planets, which of course will influence a lot people who have ascendants of one of the signs of the fiery signs like Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Of course, this will be felt like it can result in events depending on the charts of each one, but it is also it can certainly influence the emotions of people a lot because these are the personal planets. Mercury, Mars, and Venus, and in the sign of Leo. Now, what was expected this month to happen is, because it's a trine, most of the people thought that this would bring some positive developments on the markets, but actually this cannot be the case because the planets are combust. So again, also this month, the markets will, this week, the markets will be down. So this is what we can expect this week. And yes, if you have Leo rising or Aquarius rising, because then Leo will influence you as an opposition, or Moon in Leo, or Sagittarius, or Aries. Of course, you will influence this in a very emotional way. This can make you impulsive. This can influence your private life also in a very impulsive way. So in any case, this is powerful trine. It is a trine. I don't see this as a dangerous combination on the sky, but it is still influencing a lot. It's a fiery trine, and it resulted in the fires which we know happening now all over the world. And the same way it can result in our emotions, and it will not be positive for the market because of all this. And for the economy and for the finances because of all these invisible planets in Leo. And yes, in Leo, it will bring a rise in the prices of the gold. So this is just my brief overview, and then we continue seeing sign by sign how the week will be, how the sky will influence each of the 12 ascendants. The timestamps are under this video. Now let's start with Aries. Aries rising. Now for you, this trine, of course, general major trine, which is happening on the sky, certainly will influence you. Certainly can be very emotional, can impact your love life. In impulsive and emotional way, can impact also your decision-making process, like make you too impulsive, too fast. Therefore, you may need to be a little bit more disciplined and well-organized. This trine for you is good in terms of creativity, desire to study. So in this sense, it is very good. You are allowed to this week to travel, to negotiate. The first lunar crescent is seen on your 6th house, which can impact your subordinates, your routine life. There you may need to be patient. There you may need to approach everyone with your intuition and with using, with a very careful and disciplined way. But in any case, the week is fine for new beginnings, but it's not wonderful because the planets which are important for finances, for development of projects, for example, are invisible. So yes, on the other hand, the week can be good for traveling, for supporting your routine work and studies. Okay, so this was Aries. Let's see Taurus now. For you, this interesting trine on the sky is happening on your fourth house. You have Jupiter direct on your descendant, which is very fine. This interesting conjunction of planets on your fourth house can result in emotions and events in your home and also at work. And there you may need to be patient and disciplined and intuitive. The first lunar crescent will be seen this month on your fifth house, which is important for your studies, creativity, pleasure, also love. So that is where you also need to be, because Venus is invisible, Mercury is invisible, Mars is invisible. Be intuitive, be careful. This week you may travel, negotiate you may, but you cannot expect very wonderful results because of the invisibilities of the planets. Your health-wise, you're okay. As I told you, you cannot expect supreme financial results, but the week is okay in terms of maintaining your routine business, but not so much for new beginnings. So this is mainly the thing. Be patient at home with your beloved ones. On the other hand, also you may like to complete things, to complete projects this week. This is because, especially related to your work, because Mercury is in a phase of disappearance. And when it comes to work, to financial issues, it is good, it will be very positive for you to kind of have, make use of the phase of Mercury for completing things. So otherwise, Jupiter now direct is very supportive for you. So this was about Taurus. Let's see now Gemini. Now for you, interestingly, this powerful conjunction of planets is happening on your third house. And interestingly, of course, it's forming a trine to your seventh house of your relationship, also of your social environment. So that is the emphasis for you. This week, you may complete things which are related to communication, to travel. You may travel, you may negotiate, but carefully. You may, because still, you know, we repeat this often, you have Saturn on your seventh house. You may need to be careful with and patient with partners, with your romantic partner, in general with partners. Your work and your routine is supported by Jupiter also. You may receive the support of people who are around you, who are sharing your routine life at work. Be careful when traveling, be careful when negotiating, but still you may do this. But use your intuition. Just be a little bit more patient until January, when Saturn will move away. In any case, the week is fine. It is still a trine, major fire trine, which is formed on the sky, influencing very much your relationship, your romantic partner. So there is where you may need to be diplomatic. And otherwise, in terms of travel and communication, there you may like to complete things, to complete projects. This will be good. And also, it's not very advisable to do new beginnings this week because of the invisibility of the planets. All right, this was for Gemini. Let's see Cancer now. For you, there will be a lot of movement related to finances. Finances, completing financial issues. It will be very much about finances. It will be very much about the routine. You may need to be a little bit cautious with people who are your subordinates, who share your routine a day. The week is not very appropriate for you for new beginnings, but it's good for completing things related to finances. Also your work can be a little bit influencing. There will be a lot happening with your routine, environment, work, money, and also communication with subordinates. It will be a lot about work and making money. That is where you may need to be to use your intuition, diplomacy, and good structure and organization. The week is not good for new beginnings, but it's not bad for negotiations and travel. And there will be a lot happening in relation to finances, in completing financial deals, or even negotiations. Okay, and for the rest, health-wise, it's okay, just maintain healthy lifestyle, because Saturn is still retrograde on your 6th house. Let's see, Leo rising now. Now for you, the interesting conjunction that was also already affect last week is taking place on your ascendant. And on your ascendant, you have Mercury, which is in a heliacal phase of complete disappearance, Mars, Venus, the Sun, and they all form a trine with your 5th house and your 9th house. This is interesting for your for many things. It will bring development related to your finances, also your personal issues like studies, personal knowledge development. A lot can be happening this week for good. Still, be cautious with children. Be additionally attentive. You may travel, you may negotiate. I see the week like important in terms of finances for you. You may have some development in relation to finances and also completing projects. Like health-wise, be responsible also for yourself, for your own health, maintain healthy lifestyle. Attentive to children, I already said. You may travel, you may negotiate. New beginnings, not. Rather complete something that you've already started this week. This would be better. So this was about Leo rising. Now let's see Virgo ascendant. Now for you, interestingly, your ascendant ruler became invisible, hiding in the rays of the sun on your 12th house, together with invisible Venus, Mars, invisible, the sun. All these planets are on your 12th house, which will be great for education, can create desire for self-isolation, but can bring truths and knowledge that can come on surface, which can be very useful for you. This week is not appropriate for you to negotiate, neither is very appropriate to travel. Not because it is dangerous, but because it may not bring the results that you really desire. The week, in terms of, like, the week is better for completing things, not so much for starting. Even, yes, in terms of home and career, you may need to be a little bit careful, diplomatic, cautious, intuitive. Health-wise, also be responsible, especially also this week for your health. But yes, in any case, the good thing is that the direct Jupiter is supporting you from your 3rd house, but still, because all those planets are on your 12th house, together with your ascendant ruler, it is better to do studies, to concentrate on esoteric knowledge if you want, to do work of empathy and supporting others, than really starting new things, and cautiously when traveling and when when negotiating. You may just be cautious and use your intuition before making such decision. Okay, this was about Virgo ascendant. Now let's see Libra rising. Now for you, the interesting conjunction of planets together with your ascendant ruler Venus, Libra rising, we're talking. All this together with Mercury, Mars, Venus, Sun, all this is happening on your 11th house, about your gains, about plans, dreams, about a social environment. And exactly there is where the movement will be for you. There will be a lot happening in relation to income, social environment, and this will be good. However, don't expect major profits, because still your ascendant ruler, and very important for finances, is invisible, and the week is good to complete projects, to complete plans, not really for new beginnings. You may, yes, in terms of finances, the week is okay. Be cautious when traveling, be cautious when negotiating. But still, you may do, but the week is really better for completing things, not really for new starts. The week is good for you for studies, for yes, and there will be a good social environment, supportive social environment for you this week. In terms of health, the week also looks okay to me. No dangers in particular. Now let's see Scorpio rising. For you, this conjunction of planets in Leo, together with your ascendant ruler, all this is happening on your 10th house in Leo. And this is certainly going to bring some movement career-wise. A movement would say a lot will happen. It's going to be busy. Finances, work. Still, Jupiter is supporting you very beautifully from your ascendant, supports your private life, your relationship, and this is wonderful. But be very structured when it comes to making money. The week is not good for new beginnings, but it's good for completing things at work, completing projects. That is where the week will be a positive and bring results for you. In terms of communication and travel, you may do, but prepare very well everything, because you still have the retrograde Saturn on your 2nd house. A lot will happen at work or the place where you're making money. So that is where you may need to be very structured, very intuitive. But I don't see any bad issues. However, of course, it depends on each one's horoscope. But just be very structured, very disciplined, time-oriented, and the things will be all right. Health-wise as well. And now we're having Sagittarius ascendant. Now for you, the interesting trine, which includes the fiery trine, includes Saturn on your ascendant, retrograde Saturn on all the planets which are forming conjunction in Leo, the invisible Mercury, Mars, Venus, the Sun, and Uranus from your 5th house in Aries. They are forming huge trine on the sky, influencing powerfully your ascendant. Not for bad. I see this as opportunities coming from abroad, or negotiations, or travel, or financial benefits. Even all this very much related to foreign countries, or abroad, or communication, or negotiation. However, the week is not wonderful for new beginnings. It is good to complete things that you're negotiating for abroad, or to complete important tasks or projects. Health-wise, be responsible for yourself and also be patient with your beloved ones at home. You may travel, you may negotiate, but still be careful. We still have your Saturn on your ascendant and retrograde, so be patient and be careful still until Saturn, until January 2020. But this trine on the sky is influencing you for good. This is certainly some better development for you. Now we are having Capricorn ascendant. For you, the interesting trine, which is happening, the fiery trine on the sky this week, is happening on your 8th house, on your 12th, and on your 4th house. And this is not so much influencing you directly in terms of events. It may influence your emotions, your desire to study, can bring some unexpected incomes, though, if this is existing in your natal chart. But if so, this conjunction of Mercury, Mars, Venus, the Sun, all invisible planets in your 8th house can really give some results in relation to your own natal charts. Jupiter is now direct, also harmoniously influencing your ascendant, which is also better for your finances, for your social circle, for your gains. Still, be responsible for your health. If in case of melancholy, as I usually repeat, especially when I talk about Capricorn, connect with nature, welcome the sun, and this will be very, very result for you. Health-wise, the week is not really much different from the week before. Just be responsible for your health. You may negotiate, you may travel, but use your intuition and just be careful. And now let's see, Aquarius ascendant. Now for you, this interesting conjunction of planets is taking place on your 7th house of your relationships, of your visible known enemies, also of your romantic partner. And there will be the movement, there will be the development, because yes, depends on your horoscope, of course, but there is where the events may come from. Relationship or partnerships, that is where the movement can be, career-wise, partnership-wise. You have support from your superiors at work. Be a little bit cautious when it comes to children, be attentive. Health-wise, also be a little bit responsible for your health. You may travel and you may negotiate this week, but always use your intuition, because this powerful influence of planets from your descendant can make you a little bit impulsive. So be patient, be intuitive when making decisions and when negotiating and communicating with others. The week is not appropriate for new beginnings because of all those invisible planets, but it is very appropriate to complete things, to complete projects, to complete your, if you're having some kind of contract that you have to complete, this is the week. Or contractual relationship agreement that you have to complete, this is also the week for this, because of the specific phase of Mercury. Okay, now let's finish with Pisces. Now for you, this conjunction of planets, the interesting fiery trine that is happening on the sky is happening on your 6th house. And interestingly, this can bring development and events related to your routine life, to your subordinates. That is where things can come up, can happen. And if you are participating in conflicting situations, try now to be very diplomatic, try to soothe things down, try to even to postpone your participation if there is a conflict and you were somehow involved. A lot can be cooked there now. Therefore, you may need to be a little bit cautious, to slow down, to be careful. In terms of career as well, you may not have exactly the support of your superior, and that is where you may have things happening. So therefore, it's not really very appropriate now to, it's good to be very diplomatic. The week is not good for new beginnings. It's not appropriate to negotiate things at work. You may travel, negotiate you may, but be very cautious, be very well prepared. New beginnings, not completing things at work, you may do. Health-wise also, be responsible for your health. Also this week, be responsible. And if you feel moments of melancholy, connect with the nature, use your intuition. The first lunar crescent is visible on your 7th house, and this is emphasis on your private life, on your partnerships. So there you may need to be patient, diplomatic, intuitive. The week is not that bad because this is a major trine on the sky, and luckily Jupiter is very much supporting you from your 9th house, which is good for traveling. Yes, but still keep in mind that your work environment may be a little bit complex, and also the communication with superiors. So this was it. I'm completing my week for the 12 ascendants. Thank you for your attention. If you like to study with me, you may visit my website. Thank you.